What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Raider Critique. I'm Raider Gunn, and guess what? I got me a co-host. Who's this? This is Raiders Scream. Well, this is your post-game review for Week 3 versus the Minnesota Vikings, and we're also going to go into your pre-game review for Week 4 against the Colts. So why don't we go ahead and hop into the intro, and let's get this episode started. So what's happening, Raider Nation? And well, here we are. We got our asses handed to us 34-14 by the Minnesota Vikings. What can we say about this game, Raider Scream?
Well, wasn't the most productive, obviously. We want to come out with a W every week. But, the facts are the facts. Offensively, we could have scored a lot more. 16 is our average for this season so far. 14 don't cut it. 16 don't cut it neither. I think we need 28 or more against all the opponents we play this season. And that would have slowed down the Vikings scoring 34 if we scored more.
And just like he was saying, we probably should have slowed them down a lot more, but it also would have been nice to have an offensive production. Now, Derek Carr went 27 of 34 for 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Problem is, with these stats, they don't look all that bad. But most of these stats were brought in due to garbage time because we weren't able to move the ball when it was the first and second quarter.
Yep. I got to agree with that. We started moving the ball at the tail end. Williams with a score. It's just not consistent. It's not consistent offense. The stats are there. Rushing, receiving, we're just not consistently doing it 4 quarters.
And it's obviously due to lackluster play calling by John Gruden. We're running a 1999 offense, which it seems like that everybody seems to be on point with what we are going to do and when we are going to do it. We run on first and second down, and then we attempt to run on throw on third down, and they're playing the pass. We need to do some mixing up here, man. When it comes down to it, I don't know if John Gruden knows what he's actually doing out there. Has he been too far away from the game to where he just hasn't come up with anything new? Was he stuck in the booth long enough to where it's just he hasn't really thought about doing offensive plays and offensive scheming? What do you think?
Offensively, not productive.
Good call.
Gruden, I don't know. Is either one for us. It's good to have him back, but at the same time, he's killing me.
So Josh Jacobs ran 10 times for 44 yards. We really wanted more production out of Josh Jacobs, but I really do think that groin injury is actually hindering him, which is why we brought in DeAndre Washington and Jalen Richard for a few other plays. DeAndre Washington ran 6 times for 22 yards. Jalen Richard had 2 carries for 15 yards. And Darren Waller even got a rush for 7 yards. Derek Carr tried to run one, didn't gain a single yard. Receiving, Darren Waller was our number 1 receiver with 13 receptions for 134 yards. Didn't score a touchdown. J.J. Nelson, who actually did score a touchdown, was 4 receptions for 36 yards. Tyrell Williams, 3 receptions for 29 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Renfrow, 3 receptions for 28 yards. Jalen Richard, 3 receptions for 14 yards. Foster Morale, 1 reception for 1 yard. And we targeted Josh Jacobs twice, and he didn't get a single solitary catch. This is what we're talking about when it comes to offense and not having production. It's just not there. We start moving the ball, we get to moving the ball correctly, and then we stall out. And what I mean by stalling out, well, let's just go ahead and look at our drive stats. Let's see here. First drive, we got 3 plays, 2 yards, punt.
Yeah.
Okay? Our second drive, 5 plays, 15 yards, punt. Now we're starting off on our own 17 on the second drive. We started off at the 25 on our first drive. And then when it came to our third drive in the second quarter, 2 plays, 4 yards, and it resulted in an interception. What do you think about this right off the bat, Raiders Scream?
Pretty inconsistent. I mean, we got to come out with fire. We got to come out with thunder. We got to be scoring. I mean, if we get the ball first, we put the ball in the end zone or in the uprights. I mean, but we need a scoring drive coming off the bat. And then when we started moving the ball, here goes Carr. Interception. 3 for the season, 4 touchdowns for the season. That's not productive. It's almost a 1-for-1.
Precisely. With our fourth drive, we went in 7 plays. We started off on our own 25-yard line. We went 75 yards and actually scored the touchdown we needed.
Yeah.
But then when it came to our 5th drive, right before the end of the half, 9 plays, 43 yards, and it resulted in a punt. Now, we did start off on our own 9-yard line, but, I mean, this is unacceptable. This is completely unacceptable. And when it comes down to it, let's go ahead and swap on over to defense here. Swap on over to defense. You'll see exactly, just by looking at the stats, that, well, Carl Joseph was our leading tackler with 7 tackles, 1 assist. We didn't get a single sack this game on Kirk Cousins. Not one. Vontaze Burfict was our second leading tackler, which went down with an injury. I believe that was an elbow.
That's correct.
4 tackles, 3 assists. Eric Harris, 4 tackles, 1 assist. Darrell Worley, 4 tackles, no assists. Now, if you look at these stats right here, it's basically our linebackers and our defensive backs making the plays, which means they were stretching the field on us.
Yeah. We got to get the edge rushers got to move around, get to these quarterbacks. I mean, Cousin is shakeable. I mean, it's been proven the first 2 weeks of the season that Cousins is not well-rounded. But obviously we need work there too on defense.
And when you say not well-rounded, he went 15 of 21 for 174 yards and 1 touchdown. So, I mean, he didn't do a stellar job. He wasn't great. You know what I mean? We actually put him down. But the thing was here was Dalvin Cook with 16 carries for 110 yards and a touchdown.
Hey, that man's a beast, bro. I'm not even going to deny it. I mean, he's ready to play ball this season, and he just showed it against the nation.
Number one Russian running back in the league, by the way. Yeah. His counterpart, Alexander Madison, 12 carries for 58 yards. You know, for us being one of the top 5 defenses against the run, we did not stop the run this game like we should have. And it really killed the momentum. So we're really kind of just wondering, where did it all go wrong? Where did it all go wrong?
It wasn't with the punter, I'll tell you that much.
Right. The punter, which I've always, I've been harping on the guy, A.J. Cole.
A.J. Cole, yep.
Yeah. I've wanted Marquette King back for a few seasons now. But he actually did a good job. Our special teams actually did what they were supposed to do. The punter was, A.J. Cole was punting the ball down the field, y'all. So maybe a guy like me, maybe I should be giving him a chance. But, I give him more of a chance than these motherfucking referees who basically changed the whole momentum of the game for us. They gave the first 2 touchdowns to the Minnesota Vikings. We know that when they ran the ball on, I believe it was like a 3rd and 15, and homeboy's knee was down way before the line, but they gave him the first down anyway. We sat here and we watched the referees basically hand the game to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, they caught a whole lot of momentum, I mean, and guarantee, I mean, these referees, they've been getting us for decades, so.
This is something that we have to rise against. We already know that the referees are against us. The NFL pays these referees to screw us, and we already know this. It doesn't matter where we play, whether we're in Oakland, San Antonio, it doesn't matter. We always get the same scouts of referees in here, and they're always throwing flags upon us. They miss holding calls against the other team, but we can't even go anywhere near a quarterback. We can't go anywhere near a running back or even tackle a wide receiver without yellow laundry being all over the field. And the referees, man, they change the momentum of the game. They literally do, especially when it comes to us. And we have to be just more on top of our game. We cannot let this affect us. We know that this is going to happen to us. So these players just really don't need to let it bring them down as much as they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely affecting the morale and the tempo of the game. I mean, you got to keep your head in the game. You know, 60 minutes of ball, you know, play real, play hard.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. We need to play hard and play real and not let these referees, regardless on what bullshit call they give to us and do on us. You know, when it came to this loss that we had, all right, we can't just point the finger at one player. And, you know, we can sit there and complain about the referees all we want to. You know what I mean? They did change the momentum. But if our team is not playing like a well-oiled machine, this is what we get, is a 34-14 loss. Now, we should have never even lost this game. Yeah. This was a game that should have been completely winnable for us, and instead we got blown out.
Yeah, definitely a winnable game. I mean, we can't fall behind too far. I mean, we're sitting here ranked second, and that's only because we have a 1-1 record in the division. But I think we should be 2-1 right now. I mean, sitting behind the Chiefs, took a loss there, got it.
About to say, with our only loss being to the Chiefs is what it should have been.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
So, we move on. We go to face the Indianapolis Colts. This week, I've got it kind of messed up over here. Let me go ahead and get that figured out, because that is not right. So, sorry, y'all. We're going to get this kind of situated here. This is growing pains. But we have to face the Colts. And, you know, the Colts are coming off a really hot week, even though they lost. Now, from their stats from last week, they lost 27-24. Or no, they won 27-24. So they came off on a win. And Jacoby Brissett was on fire. All right, 28 of 37 for 310 yards and 2 touchdowns. This does not bode well for our secondary. Our secondary is already hurting with Jonathan Abram out of the game he's basically out for the season. So we've got to rely on Riley. We've got to rely on Conley. We've got to rely on Joseph. And we've got to rely on Worley to shut this dude down.
Definitely some growing pains right there in the secondary. I mean, it'd be great to have Abram still. But, I mean, again, I don't think even if he was on the field, I still think that we're going to take some slack in that secondary. I mean, it depends on the scheme. Man-to-man, zone, and they seem to be getting, I'm going to put it out there, out-coached. So, Andy Reid did it week 2 and week 3. Obviously, Minnesota's coaching staff did it again to us.
Right, and we can't allow Indianapolis to literally out-coach us. We've got to call the right plays. We've got to make sure we're running the right schemes. But out of 4 linebackers that we've kept, all right, we've got 3 that are down. They're injured. Vontaze Burfict hopefully will be back next week, but that still leaves us only 2 linebackers. And So what does that mean? Are we going to be running dime and nickel all game long?
We'll see. But they did pick up a couple linebackers. I mean, brought one up from the practice squad, Phillips, and then added one off of the Rams practice squad. I think his name is Allen, if I'm correct.
So we've got Allen, we've got Wilbur, Perfect, and then Phillips. So 2 of these guys haven't even played with the team. So we don't even know if they're going to be a healthy scratch. You know what I mean? I'm hoping not, because we are definitely hurting at linebacker. We need these guys to play. I mean, really, what are we going to do? Our defensive line has to be able to get inside on these guys. Yeah. And look, Marlon Mack's no joke. All right, 15 rushes for 74 yards and a touchdown last week. So we're going to have our hands full again this week with a team that honestly we thought we were going to be beating because Andrew Luck was not going to be a part of this squad anymore.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett, I mean, he's definitely not a normal backup quarterback. He's been ready for the position. He's come up behind Brady, so that gives him a little level up there, I guess. He's also mobile. So, I mean, there's got to be some type of spy effect going on with them linebackers. And I just think there's going to be more growing pains right there with the secondary, with the linebacker. Defensive line has to step up. They have to show their 2 years, 3 years of seasoning and just win, you know.
Right. Our defensive line is going to have to definitely step up. They're going to have to stop the run. They're going to have to penetrate to get into the backfield, to get to Brissett, and then hope Brissett doesn't pull a Patrick Mahomes on us and run all over the pocket and eat us alive when his receivers finally get open. Our secondary can't seem to stick with a wide receiver for longer than 5 seconds. So this could be another hard game to watch, Raider Nation. It really could. But let's keep it positive.
That's right.
Let's keep it positive. Let's hope that everybody is running exactly the way they're supposed to. They're playing their positions, backing each other up, and then maybe we can go ahead and come out on top of this game. I'm hoping that's exactly how it works out. Maybe this team will finally start coming back together. So here we are, man. We're back on the Raiders Shield. I just want to go ahead and thank all of you guys for coming in and checking out the videos. As you can see, I do have a co-host, and it's nice to actually have somebody to bounce all these questions off of instead of me sitting here talking to a camera. Thank you, Raider Scream, for showing up, man.
My pleasure,
and remember, everybody, we are in a rebuild, okay? But we do have the people on the roster to make this. You know, I called 12-4. That's not happening. Yeah. All right, it's not happening.
I've been more of an 8-8 man. That was my prediction in there, but hopefully we get to that. You know.
Right, 8-8 would be 100% better than what we were last year at 4-12.
Yeah.
Now that's one thing that I can honestly say. If we do reach 8-8, this team is 100% better than we were last year. But with the way we're looking, my new prediction's 7-9.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. It sucks, but if we're gonna reach 7-9, the Colts have got to be one of these teams that we beat.
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely, because we've got a long, hard road schedule ahead of us. We still got to play in London, and I believe that's next week, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Week 5. Yep.
So, if we're gonna win, we need to do it on Sunday. We need to win this Sunday. We need to win next Sunday. We actually need to have a streak of at least 4 or 5 wins in a row. And just win these games on the road and give us a little bit, just give us something to be happy about, you know? Ever since Antonio Brown took off, we've been all down in the dumps. Now, he's basically out of the league now. But it sure would be nice to have a number 1 wide receiver to throw it to.
Yeah, it's a good fact right there. There's no, when it boils down to it, you got to ask yourself, who's your favorite Raider player? And I don't know. I don't see that star out there. A lot of people can see his DC. He's got the ability to be a star. Really, he's somewhere in the middle of the league. Maybe even on the lower end.
Right, and for making $20 million, he should not be on the lower end. DC needs to stop playing scared. He needs to stop running around in that pocket and having happy feet. We're all watching it. We're all seeing it. And our line's kind of beat up. Richie Incognito did not do well last week. But then again, it's the first time he's played in an actual game in almost 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So he's got growing pains to go through. Trent Brown is playing hurt, which means we're going to have to bring in Colton Miller. Gabe Jackson is still hurt.
Yes.
You know, we've got, DV in there for him now?
Yeah.
And he hasn't really been a part of the scheme. You know, I think he came in, 2 weeks ago?
I mean, our most solid piece is Rodney Hudson at the center position.
Correct. So, anyway, Raider Nation, this is your pregame for Week 4 and also your postgame for Week 3. And remember, guys, just like we always say on this channel, it's Raider Nation for life, baby. Let's get on out of here.